Welcome to the Founder Fumbles podcast, where we go deep into real life entrepreneur struggles and comeback strategies. I'm your boy, Dahmari Taplin, and today we have Nosa Iyare.
Yep, that's
it. I said it right?
Yeah, you got it.
Yes, I got it. Okay, so just so y'all know, I'm gonna give y'all some details about Nosa. He got a lot of stuff going on. So he's the founder and CEO of Overwrite, CDFI and Economic Development Consultant.
CDFI. Right.
CDFI and Economic Development Consultant. Small Business of the Year award winner for the African Chambers of Commerce. He was also nominated for Startup Business of the Year for the Denver Chambers of Commerce. He's also an advocate for group economics. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Nosa Iyare.
Thank you, Dahmari. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast. You're doing great work.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. Podcasting is super. It's a challenge.
No, you're doing more than trying. I was just telling you before we started recording that I had a podcast for about 5 years. Started it in business school in 2018 and ran it till 2023. My setup was nothing like this. So you're already on a professional level. So I admire what you're doing. Thanks for inviting me.
I appreciate it, bro. So what's been going on with you? Like, this is like actually our first actual time like sitting down. I know we met a couple times at different events and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, this is our first real deal conversation. You know what I mean? So what's been going on with you and your life? How's business? What's going on with you?
Life has been good. I can't complain. Just working on the business every day, trying to grow that. A lot of learnings. Why the business is literally, I'm not sure when this is coming out, but it's like 3 years old in the next 2 weeks or so. Business is going to be 3 years old. So a lot of learnings there. I'm trying to improve different aspects of my life along the way and trying to make others better. So I volunteer a lot. I'm sure we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not just waiting to be the best version of myself before I lift other people up. I'm trying to lift other people up while I make the climb myself. So that's been pretty challenging.
Yeah.
But it's just so far so good. Just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, man. Just trying to lift people up, and this is me like giving entrepreneurs a chance to like share their journey, stuff they went through, and all that good stuff. So yeah, man, thanks for letting me know about that. So Overwrite, that's your business, right?
Correct.
So what you do? What is that? What does it do?
Yeah, Overwrite is we are a consulting firm, right? So we're pretty much an economic development consultancy. And that's just a fancy way of saying we're all about small businesses. So I describe Overwrite as we help to get capital and coaching to small business owners. Capital in the sense that we work with a lot of community lenders and we do a lot of loan underwriting or loan processing, if you will, on behalf of small lenders. And then on the business side, we offer, in the industry term, is technical assistance, but we offer, small business consulting, advisory, more coaching on a pro bono basis to small business owners, helping them solve their toughest challenges. So that's what we do at Overwrite.
Yeah.
We're economic development consultancy.
That's crazy, man. And kudos to you, man. I've always been curious about consulting. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's a lot of consulting businesses out there. And I may be confused about it. Like, people tell me that I should do some consulting, but I'm like, what can on what topic? You know what I mean? So, like, what is a consulting business like? Like, how do you get it set up? Like, what you actually do? Like, how do you make a real business out of that?
Yeah, I mean, setting up a consulting business, I think you should definitely, I'll join those people to say you should definitely give it a try. So how do you set it up? I can talk about my story. I set it up by accident, to be totally honest. So I had a SaaS business in the past. I was in the tech space trying to build SaaS for the trucking and logistics space, right? That wasn't going so well. It was a lot of push, right? So I was trying to make things happen. All the customers I got was kind of like me breathing down their neck. It wasn't really organic. Even though we're appearing we're winning different competitions, appearing in the media, weren't really making money in the bank month over month, right? An old employer reached out to me, right? And they wanted me to come on a contract basis. They first wanted to hire me back. I turned that down, and then they said, hey, we don't want to bring you on full time. Come on part time. Come help us underwrite some of these loans or process some of these loans that we have on our books. So I did that on a 1099 basis, and because I was 1099, it just kind of like clicked. I was like, oh wow, if they need this service, maybe other people in the CDFI space need this service. And I reached out to a few other people in the industry. Some people said yes. And then one person said, hey, we can't use your social security. We need an EIN. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I need to register a company now. And that's kind of like how I got into the consulting space. So it was solely by accident. But to answer part of your question there, I think everyone has a specific skill that they can not volunteer, that they can offer as a service to other people. You just have to package that skill properly to offer it on a B2B level to businesses that needs that skill, and then you're a consultant. That's it. It's simple. It's not, you don't have to be Deloitte or one of these fancy government consultants. You're offering a service or a skill in a professional manner to a business. You're a consultant.
So, okay. So you lead with that. Like, that's the main thing you do is your consulting business. That's crazy. So CDFI, what is that? What is that? What does it stand for?
CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institutions. They're kind of like banks, but unlike banks, they don't take in deposits. So they raise money from the government and private institutions, and they go on to, there are different types of CDFI, but the more common type of CDFI are CDFI loan funds. They lend that money to businesses that can't approach traditional banks. So the U.S. Department of Treasury kind of like coordinates the CDFI industry to get capital to those areas of the economy or those parts of the U.S. that are underfunded. So they're mostly lending institutions, even though we have like venture capital CDFIs, housing CDFIs, and other types of CDFIs. But that's what a CDFI is. They're pretty much community lenders.
So what would, like, if you would, if I was to try consulting, you know what I mean? I think I asked somebody else this before, but I don't ask you because you lead with you do this consulting stuff. What would you recommend, like, me to try to be a consultant? Like, what would you recommend me do as a consultant,
That's a good question.
What could I do,
Yeah, that's a good question. And I might need to know you a little bit more. I know you on the business level, maybe on the personal level. But I'll say this. So, how I said about my last business where it was a lot of push. With this business, it was a lot of pull, right? So something that you're pulled towards is what you start a consulting business on, right? So with my previous business, I was trying to some people were just signing up for my service because they were friends of mine, or they knew me, or they respected me. So it was a lot of push, me forcing a lot of things. Unlike this business where it was people pulling me in, telling me, where's your EIN? No, we need your bank account number. We can't use your personal account. We need you. They were asking me for things before I even had it. Right. So it was a pull, right? And I remember a client wanted to pay me, but I hadn't set myself up in their finance department, and they were on me like, hey, set this up before the fiscal year is ended so we don't have your money go into the next year. And they were they're pretty much begging me to come take my money type of thing. So that's an example of a pull. So if you have anywhere in your professional life where people are calling you, whether you're working you're in a 9-to-5 right now, and there's this one thing that people call you to, maybe if you understand Airtable or Excel very well, and everyone in the office knows that, Dahmari is the Excel champion, call him, he's going to solve your problem. Or when it comes to presentations, people call you on that. Or if there's a certain compliance element to your industry or sales element to your industry that people depend on you on, and you have that pull, that's where you should start to look into.
I got you.
For a consultant business.
So I need to look out for those things that people are always asking me for assistance or help or calling me for advice.
Definitely. That's what you should look out for. And I would add something else to that as well. You should try to make it B2B, because even though they're B2C consultants, B2B is really the way to go. If you want to be a B2C consultant, maybe you're teaching people how to write their resumes and things like that. That's still consulting, but maybe not really. B2B is what the businesses want, and based on your work experience or personality or travel experience, you know how to do and can offer that to businesses.
That's dope. So you do webinars and stuff too, right?
We do webinars, yeah.
Okay. So is it like you and your team doing that? or is it just you? I haven't watched one of your webinars yet.
Yeah, it's various people. So sometimes it'll be me. Sometimes we have special guests come on. Sometimes it'll be someone on the team. But it's just part of our overall strategy, right? So when we say we try to get capital and coaching to businesses, the capital is more so working with CDFIs, community lenders. The coaching side, we do it in different ways. We sit down one-on-one with small business owners to provide that one-on-one small business advisory or technical assistance or consulting. But we also do webinars as well, and we want to do events really soon as well, because that's a way to reach a larger audience for common questions that come up from time to time and things like that. So,
can you monetize webinars? Are you making money through your webinar?
You can, but we're not at Overwrite. We're not. Yeah, we deliberately do not charge any small business owner for any of the services we offer.
Yeah.
So we try to, and our business model is unique that way. Like, as a small business owner myself, I know how difficult it is to run a small business. And even though I know that the work that we do is valuable, we get other people most times to pay for the services that we render to the entrepreneurs. So most times, hey, just come to us. We can help you, steer you towards, a capital source or get you some coaching. Totally free for you, being paid by someone else, whether that's, funders or other clients on the CDFI side or something like that. So
dope. Yeah, that's dope. Because, I've always been interested in learning about like webinars and stuff. And like, it seemed like it could be like kind of lucrative,
It can be, but again, at the moment, we don't want to turn that paywall on.
Yeah.
We just want to keep it free for those guys because we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a B2B guy, to be honest. Like, I feel like you have to have a certain type of mindset to deal with individual people at scale, right? So if you're going B2C, which webinar to B2C people, that's kind of like what it is. If you're doing it to small business owners, most of who are solopreneurs, you're going to that B2C model, and then you're managing chargebacks with credit cards and all these things. So we just kept it free. We get our revenues other places.
Okay, I want to ask way more about the webinars and stuff, but I'm gonna keep it there, man. So, but I do want to know about the African Chambers of Commerce. You was the award winner for Startup of the Year. Small Business of the Year.
Correct.
So how did you even get connected with African Chambers of Commerce? Like, what was that whole journey like?
So I moved to Denver, Colorado in 2019, just before the pandemic. And one of the first events, I think I moved here in August, like mid-August. It was like towards the end of the summer. And Colorado, in the summer, they'll have all these festivals, right? They'll have the African Festival, the Ethiopia Day Festival, Taste of Colorado, all these different festivals. So that was kind of like my introduction to Colorado. I was going for all these festivals and whatnot. And then I was also working for a CDFI at the time. And then somehow, I can't remember, I got connected to the African Chamber. I didn't even have a business back in 2019, but I just kept in touch, attended their programming and whatnot. But I started to, when I launched Overwrite, we started to do good work in the community. We do a lot of volunteer and pro bono work, paired with the traction that we're having in our business as well. And I guess someone noticed and, reached out to me via email, told me to nominate, and that was it. And we were selected and we won. So,
And you also got, you was nominated for like Denver Startup of the Year, right?
Yeah, for Startup Biz of the Year at the Denver Chamber of Commerce.
Denver Chambers of Commerce. Right. How did you get connected with? How did you get connected with them?
Same thing. I think one of my core strengths, if you will, is kind of like networking, right? So I love to work on the business, not in the business. From day one, right? Even though we use the word consultancy, in reality, there's a difference between a consultancy and a consulting firm. Like, consultancy is more so smaller, maybe a solo consultancy. A consulting firm is much more larger. But I set out to build a consulting firm, right? Even though right now we still use the word consultancy. And I say that to say because, I go out and I try to, canvas the community and build relationships to get business in the pipeline and then hire people to carry out that business, even though most of the time, I carry out the business in the first few months to understand it, so I supervise others to carry it out. So to answer your question, how I got connected to the Denver Chamber of Commerce, again, whenever I'm in a new city, in a new place, like, I just reach out there. I'm on Eventbrite, I'm on Meetup, I'm on Facebook, groups, just trying to know what's going on, what events are happening, happy hours, networking. I go out and meet the people and touch the people. That's how I kind of do business. Kind of like the old school way, because a lot of people do it via DMs and emails. But I like to like go out there, volunteer, meet with people, because I believe that'll eventually lead to something. And then I also have an MBA. And to be honest, during my MBA, that's where I kind of like honed these skills. Like I have an MBA, but I joke that instead of a master's in business administration, I have a master's in networking and time management, because that's what I was taught in the 2 years in business school. Like every week we had to meet with our career counselor to tell him or her what conferences we're going to, how we're going to get a job, how we're doing on our grades, all that. So that kind of like trained me up to always be on the lookout for conferences. It taught me how to network, and MBAs are a little bit different from maybe an undergraduate degree. It's really not about the GPA. Is really not about what you're learning in classroom, even though they teach you a bunch of stuff. It's about the network that you build in school, outside of school, how you use the learnings, and all these things they teach you, accounting and marketing. How do you use all that to run a large business or start your own business? So shout out to my MBA program, American University, Go Eagles.
Yes.
That's where I also got some of those skills too.
That's dope, man. It's crazy, man. Like, ever since when I first met you, I just feel like you like good at business. You know what I mean?
I don't know why everyone says that. I didn't even know that, to be honest. I registered my first company at 31, 32. So I never even knew, like I was kind of like pushed to the wall to start a business, because even though I had done things that were entrepreneurial, they were always like volunteer or project management or doing some being in charge of a group or something. Nothing that was profit driven. But I think, it was a perfect alignment between like my accounting and business degree, me going to a military school, me being Nigerian, so having that hustling DNA, and the other stuff just coming together at once to just make me good. I didn't even know I was good at business for some reason. It just happened like that.
I didn't even know you was from Nigeria. I should have asked that.
Right. No, that's good. It's good.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. So do you have like a co-founder or business partner, or is it just you? Like, I know you said you haven't had a team, but like, how's your team built? Like, how's your, founder setup? Yeah,
so pretty much right now I think we're about 7 people on the team currently, so still a small team. So my title is managing partner. And then we have underwriting department, which is made up of like 3 underwriters. We have the technical assistants or small business department, which is made up of 2 technical assistants folks. And then we have 1 accounting/admin person, right? So I'm pretty much doing a lot of the supervision still. Again, our company is like 3 years old, but I'm getting to a point where I am slowly looking to make one of the underwriters like a supervisor for the underwriting team, one of the technical assistance people, supervisor for a technical assistant team, and maybe, grab someone to be like a chief of staff that can be like under me to supervise like the operations, like almost like a COO, while I'm doing a lot of the strategic stuff. It's just hard because I did start the business with another partner. So I was a managing partner and it was another partner, but we fell out, for reasons. She's a great individual, but it wasn't just her dream for this particular space, but it was mine, and there wasn't a fit. So after like 14 or 16 months, we parted ways, and it's just been me ever since.
Dang, that's crazy, yo. So no, I had a question I wanted to ask you. Definitely slipped my mind, But yeah, so are you using the Ziga app?
I am not. I'm sorry. I know I should. I've checked it out before with my previous business, actually.
Because you don't need a co-founder or anything right now, right?
Well, not you can always use help, but how I actually think about a co-founder is it's probably someone who's running a consulting firm as well that's adjacent in the industry. There are other people who do. I do like again. Outsourced underwriting, technical systems, small business consulting, that type of thing. There's some people who do like compliance, strategic consulting, technology consulting. I think it'll be interesting to join forces with one of those people. And I have a couple of people in my network that kind of like been testing the waters here and there. It might take a couple of years to get to a point where you actually, propose to that person, but I think that'll be an interesting type of combination. But I have tried the Ziga app with my previous business, so that was great.
So this is the question I want to ask you. I noticed that you're the CEO, but you don't use the CEO title. Why did you give up the title CEO? And why did you give it up? Why did you switch? Why did you just get rid of it?
That's a good question. I think I can boil it down to imposter syndrome, to be honest.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, man. Like, I printed out business cards. So while I was working at a CDFI, when I moved to Denver, there was this conference, like 4 or 6 months into my role there was this major industry conference that was happening that, the CDFI I was working for would fly a couple of the staff to the conference. So I was very eager to go because I like to learn everything. I was still new in the CDFI space then. I wanted to learn about the CDFI. So I approached my boss. I was like, I'd like to attend this conference. And she was like, look, like, I understand your enthusiasm and everything, but you're just 6 months into the role. Like, there are all these other people who've been working for a couple of years. They are going, and then you can go maybe next year or something. So I thought that was interesting. And long story short, fast forward a few years, I started my own company, and I went there with Overwrite as my company, and I met her at that conference. And there was a CEO panel or a CEO session where all the CEOs in the industry converge. And I went there, and it was like 30, 40 something CEOs. And I felt so out of place because back then Overwrite was like maybe 3 months old. These were people who had been CEOs since 1994 or something. I felt so out of place. It was imposter syndrome. And back then it was just me. I hadn't hired anyone yet. It was for 3 months. So I was like, what am I? Chief executive officer. I'm not the executive officer over anyone at the moment. I also saw that sometimes it was leading to a roadblock because I introduced myself as a CEO and people have this expectation, but I was still learning and it was causing some friction. Oh, wait, so you don't really know what you're talking about, back then. So I was like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board and call myself something. What should I call myself? I literally went back on Vistaprint where I printed my CEO business card. Like, I need to change the CEO to something. I was like, what should I tell? Okay, principal consultant, lead, whatever. But I was like, no, it still has to have a level of authority, but maybe not CEO. But I was like, wait, it's a consulting company. Managing partner. So, call myself managing partner instead of CEO because I also wanted to have other partners. So my goal was, hey, we'll be 3 partners in the business. I'll be the managing partner. We'll have other partners running other aspects of the business. Managing partner does the day-to-day. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's not CEO. That doesn't put any type of pressure on me. If I put that on a business card, no one has any type of expectation. So it was pretty much imposter syndrome. So that's why I kind of like flipped from CEO to call myself managing partner. And I've ran with that ever since. So yeah, when you run a business, you can make the rules. So that's the rule I made for myself. So.
That is a brilliant way to go. I think just giving that, because that also allows you the opportunity to connect with the people that work for you as well. Because that CEO title, they feel like they talk to you a different way when you're the CEO, and it kind of lets you like level with them and see eye to eye and stuff like that. And and it works for you. You know what I mean? It helps with your imposter syndrome. So that is brilliant. Yo.
It definitely works for me, but doesn't mean, hey, if you're starting a business and you want to call yourself a CEO, like definitely go for that. Yeah. Like I just, I can be, and some people were saying, hey, like, why not, like, the girl I was dating at the time, like, call yourself a CEO, it doesn't matter, like, but sometimes, again, when I see it's interfering with, like, sales opportunities and things like that, it's like, I'd rather not call myself a CEO and get the sale than be all high and mighty and then drop the ball type of thing. So it was a business decision.
Yeah. So, I had a funny question, man, like, what are you not good at in business?
A lot. A lot.
Like, what skills do you lack?
Oh, man. A lot. I'm not good at a lot. I still feel like, so specifically we're running a consulting business. I think my background lends itself to a lot of, call it grit, right? So military, my last startup was in the logistics space, blue collar. So it lends itself to a lot of grit. Right, but in running and grit works in some industry, works in like the tech industry, for instance, like, oh, you're up at 4 a.m., you're coding, you're flying to Australia to raise money, you're doing all these things. That works in the tech industry, right? In the consulting industry, grit can work against you a little bit. Like you have to have a certain level of like poise, right? As a consultant, that, oh, you're like 007. You're so well respected that you attract the businesses. You're not going after it. So I think that demeanor, that poise where, you're dressing fancy, you're delivering these professional seminars and people are just like, wow, you're in awe. And it's funny, the consulting business is so funny is that a lot of the problems we solve are so simple, but because, again, like I'm a very simple guy and I just, oh yeah, this is your problem. Like I remember when we were working for a client in Washington, D.C., like, yeah, this is the issue. And like, and they were like, wait, we paid you $9,000 for that? Like it was, I didn't have the ability to wrap it around, oh, let's have the strategy session first. And then I'll call my assistant and then we'll brainstorm with executive team to tell you the same thing where you feel it'll be worth the $9,000 because I just spat it out in a Zoom meeting. Yeah. So I think that poise, that demeanor, I definitely lack that. There are other things. I would argue that I can be a better salesperson, even though people think I'm pretty good. I think I can be better at closing. Sometimes I oversell. Right? I sell past the sale. Right? I think I can be better at closing, better at sales. I can definitely be better hiring. So I'm learning as I'm going, but I can definitely be better at that. But a bunch of other things as well.
Okay, so if you can have like one partner, you know what I mean? What would that perfect partner be? What's that title that they would have? If you know that
in the business and Overwrite?
As your partner, if you could have a co-founder, that could do all the things that you couldn't do, like what would they do? Just like sales or something? Sales?
I think I've done business to the point where I know that there's no such thing as a perfect partner. Yeah. You just kind of, you can have some complementary skills, but it'll be nice for, to have someone who is exposed and knowledgeable about parts of the industry that I'm not. Say like compliance, we don't do compliance at Overwrite, like CDFI certification compliance, that type of thing. We don't do strategic consulting. Some people do that. We don't do technology consulting. Some people do that. So some people to have that complementary skill, but besides the complementary skill, the complementary attitude and demeanor. So again, I have that grit. I can talk to anybody. I can go out there. So someone that, can sit back, has that poise to say, okay, let's think about this. All right, you want to do this? All right, you know what? Don't approach him. Like, let's go about it this way, that type of thing. So someone that has that countenance as well, I think would be nice. And we'll both be selling. It's not like, I can bring in money to the business, they can bring in money to business. But I think those two things will be nice. But again, there's no such thing as a perfect partner. So
no, that's fire, bro. You got a great head on your shoulders.
Thank you.
So, what was what would you say was your lowest moment as a founder? Like, what was one time you like really struggled and almost gave up? You know what I mean? Or felt like quitting? You know what I mean? What was your lowest moment?
Right. I mean, depending on the week, man, like that happens. That happens a lot. I mean, we do business with the government. I don't want to say which one, but a government agency is our client, and doing business with the government always has its headaches. Things are just a little slower. So when rules are changing or payments are being delayed, that type of thing. That's always challenging. I talked about losing a business partner early on in the business. That's one. And even with previous business, my previous startup, again, from the outside, it seems like we're doing everything right. We're having media mentions. If I wanted to just ride the coattails of the business and be popular, I could have done that. I wouldn't have started another business. I would have stayed with the old one. But I was like, why am I in business if I'm not like creating value and making money, and really developing my community and things like that? But that wasn't happening. I was on Stripe refreshing. I thought my Stripe link was broken. I was like, wait, so no one has paid this week? Like refreshing, like no payment. So, there's money challenges, hiring the wrong person and then going through the painful process of removing that person from the business. Always been a low point. So if you hire the wrong person, be slow to hire, be quick to fire. So that be slow to hire, like really assess the people you're bringing on. And this no slight on anyone who has exited our business. Some people have left our business and gone on to be great at something else. The thing with human beings is that sometimes people just lead you on and you're like, are you sure? I'm in a very unsexy industry, very as unsexy as it can be. And some people, they don't see that
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, coffee, beer pong at work type of thing. It's us, digging into the numbers, reading a lot, keeping up with clients. It's very unsexy, and that doesn't mesh well with a lot of people. So hiring wrong people as well, and a bunch of other things too.
Yeah. Have you ever got to the point where you was like question your purpose doing all of your stuff? Have you ever felt like that?
Question my purpose generally with running this business.
With running a business?
Yes, I have. You tend to do that from time to time when you're not seeing the results that you see. Should I even be doing this? What am I doing exactly? So yeah, once or twice, I found myself asking myself if this is what I should be doing. But really creating a vision and a mission really helped with that. So our vision is to be the world's most respected catalyst for developing local economies, and our mission is literally success for others. Because we believe as a consulting company, the more we help other people succeed, the more we will be successful. So that ties into my volunteering, that ties into helping other people, that ties into my networking and all of that. So I want to help as many people be successful as possible, because at the end of the day, I know that will lead to my success. If you create value for other people, it comes back around. But before I had that clarity, I had a lot of doubt, thinking, is this what I should be doing? Because it can be so difficult, it can be so lonely, and there's a lot of things that go wrong that you kind of like ask yourself that question from time to time. But I haven't asked myself that question in a while now. So
Right. That's crazy, man. So I know you've been through a whole lot of stuff, man. A lot of lessons learned. But what was the biggest lesson you've learned, this year? Just while being a founder.
This year, I'll expand the timeline a little bit and say since I jumped into business,
please do.
I think the biggest lesson I learned is start sooner.
Start sooner?
Start sooner.
Yeah.
Like my previous business, I ran it for 2 years. A lot of mistakes I made in that business, even though I didn't have any staff and it was just me. When I started my second business, I got a lot of things right on day one because I had made all those mistakes in the previous business. I knew the previous business, I opened, this is how stupid I was, right? I bought a website, I bought a domain, my website was .us. I was like, no, I want the .com. I spent money. I hadn't had one customer. I spent money buying the .com domain, had this fancy email address, had business card. I opened 2 bank accounts, not one, 2 bank accounts. I haven't had one customer. I'm opening 2 bank accounts. I was like, no, because I want to have all my revenue going into this account, and I sweep it into this account. That'll be my strategic account. I'm like, I've only had $1. So, a lot of stupid mistakes. But I say that to say the way to get good at business is failing and failing fast and learning the lessons as you go. So I've had so much opportunity to start businesses since I was young. When I was 19, I had the opportunity to start an entertainment magazine in college. I had the opportunity to join a few tech people to found like a ticketing company in my 20s. I had the opportunity in business school to join some crypto guys, to start a crypto startup. But I kept saying no to those opportunities. But if I were to advise myself, I would say start sooner with one of those, because even though some or all of them may have failed, you would have learned those lessons that would have gotten you closer, that you just get closer, that with the next thing you're getting better, you're getting sharper. It's like playing basketball, right? The more you play, the more you get sharper, the more you get better, the more you get better. So start sooner. That's the lesson I'll probably say.
You just learned all this through your experience, or is it a person, you got a mentor or something?
Mostly through my experience, because again, just gradually seeing how I'm a lot better in year 3 than year 1 in the current business, or I'm a lot better in business 2 than business 1. Like, wow, how good would that have been if I had started that company when I was 19 and just kept on doing entrepreneur? I'd have had like 2 decades or almost 2 decades. I'm not that old, but almost 2 decades worth of experience, and I would have been that much better in business than now that I have just maybe 5 or 6 years worth of business experience. Like if I'm this good after 6 years, like if I started at 19, but hey, maybe the way I look at it, maybe I was building all the foundations as well. I was going to school for accounting, so I was learning about that. I was learning how to write. I was learning interning and doing different jobs. I was learning how to be in a professional setting. That helped me as a consultant to think like how someone on the business side will think, right? So maybe it's not a total waste, because sometimes just jumping into business when you don't have the fundamentals can be a challenge.
Yeah,
as well,
the journey is all a part of it. Yeah,
correct.
So like doing all these struggles and stuff that you had, all these times you felt like quitting and stuff like that. Like, what keeps you going? Is it like your family or your wife, kids, or you just want to be successful? Like, what keeps you going?
A couple of things keep me going. It's mostly around the vision, man. To be honest, like the vision keeps me going. So I have this grand vision that I want to help 1,000 people before I die directly. I want to help 1,000 people directly before I die, right?
Okay.
And this is not just like holding a webinar that 1,000 people attend. It's like someone I sit down with and I'm helping you with your finances. I'm helping you get a job. I'm giving you advice that changes the course of your career. Maybe you're a teenager. I'm talking to you about your future trajectory. I'm teaching you a skill. Like, I want to help 1,000 people before I die. And that kind of like broad ties into this my whole success for others mentality. That broad vision kind of like keeps me going. Family as well also keeps me going, because there are days you want to pull your hair out and whatnot. There are always people there to talk you off the ledge and tell you that, hey, what you're doing is good. And then the momentum, to be honest, keeps me going as well. Like, it's almost like, business, there are a lot of boring weeks or days in business. Like, it's not like everything just happens all the time is good, right? A lot of boring weeks, but sometimes after a while of boring, we've been nominated for something. Oh, we got this new client. Oh, something happened. That person. So that momentum as well. The type of person I am, I feed off of momentum, and the more I get, the more I can go further. So a combination of those things help as well. And then I don't consider myself an overly spiritual person, but I do have my quiet moments where I reflect, mostly around my birthday every year. Around my birthday every year, I sit down and have like a week of reflection and maybe a little bit of prayer here and there. Just, okay, it's been another year. What has happened? What am I planning for the next year? And talk to a few people I'm close to, and retreat to, I call it my cave. Retreat to my cave, do some soulless thinking and whatnot. So, a combination of those things.
So just so you know, you can add me as a person on that list, 1,000 a year, because you helped me in so many ways today. Told me about like the consulting, the webinars, and even just coming here and doing this podcast with me. So add another person to your 1,000 list, because you definitely helped me today.
Okay. I haven't started counting yet, but I guess I have 999 to go.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure you helped a lot more people. But if I'm number one, I'm even grateful that I was the first person to tell you that you definitely helped me. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
So if everything went right for you, with business and in life, what would that look like? Like what is your business being successful? Like, what does that mean? What does that look like for you? Business success and life success.
I mean, I'll start from the business side. So business success is when you truly run a business, is when the business can operate without you, right? So I think getting to that point, we have a vision internally at Overwrite, a 2027 vision that we're working on. So we have about 2 more years to go. We have a vision of what we think we want the company to be. So hopefully, in 2 years we can hit that. We're on the right trajectory. But the business running without you, and then creating leaders, I think is something that's really dear to my heart. I really yearn for it because, someone created me as a leader. And when I say created me, like someone gave me the opportunity and taught me the things I know today, where that person can point out to me and say, okay, the Nosa passed through my organization and was mentored by me. I want to also do that for people who work for me. And I define leaders as, when I say create leaders, I define leaders as people who lead other people. So whoever is under me today, whether that's within my company or going to start your own company or whatever, but if I see someone that eventually leads other people, and I know that I was instrumental in training that person, like that'll be something that I'll be very happy about. So that, and like having the business run on autopilot, I think that's kind of like intertwined, because you need leaders to have your business run on autopilot.
Yeah.
That's one.
Dang.
And then secondly, as far as personal, I talked about impacting 1,000 people before.
Yeah.
Before I die. That's something that I would love to do on the continent of Africa and outside the continent of Africa. And another personal kind of like goal of mine is I'd love to foster more understanding between like Africans and African Americans.
Yeah.
I think we're at a bad place. I don't know how we got here.
Yeah.
But I think we're the same people. I think
we need to come together more than where we are.
We need to come together. So whatever I can do in that regard as well, helping build that bridge between the continent and the diaspora, I'll love to do that as well. And then I'll love to.
Whenever you get started with that, sign me up.
I'm coming to get you.
So I that too. Like my wife is South African. You know what I'm saying? So. And I'm African American. So,
I'm coming to get you. And then the last one is I'd love to raise kids who come home on their own dime.
Yeah.
Right. I'd love to raise kids that, hey, during Thanksgiving or Christmas, they're buying their own flight ticket to come back home. So it's not me, and it's not about money or anything. It's just like they felt that much love and learned so much as a child that being out there in the world, they yearn for that, and then they come back. I think I'll be fulfilled knowing that I raise kids that come back home on their own dime from time to time. That'll make me fulfilled as a father as well.
I absolutely love that, yo, and that's great insight. So do you have anything like new coming up with your business or life that you want to tell like the people and stuff?
Nothing that we want to announce publicly just yet. I talked about the 2027 goal. That's kind of like what we're working towards. We'll be 5 years old then. So there are a couple of things that we'll probably announce in the year 2027.
Yeah.
We can probably come back to this podcast. But just in general, like if there's, I don't know if it's the right time to plug or something, but I mean, you can check out our website. It's overwriteinc.com. And if you're a CDFI looking for some outsourced underwriting help, technical assistance help, reach out to me. If you're a state government agency, looking for help around economic development, reach out to me. If you're a small business owner, looking for someone to talk to help solve some of your most pressing challenges in your business, whether that's hiring, sales, I can happy to talk to you about, and if you're a young person, like a teenager, you're not sure what career to get into, you're thinking about getting a business degree or maybe not even going to college, you're thinking about, there's this whole AI stuff, is it worth it? Happy to talk to you as well. Like, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, that was super dope. You answered my last question without even me asking. I was going to tell you, like, let everybody know where to find you and stuff. So now that everybody knows where to find you, man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming today. That was super dope.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching today's episode. If you were inspired by Nosa in any way, please reach out to him. He just gave you all the contacts. I'm going to put all that stuff in the description too. But please do not forget to like this video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps like grow the channel and get this message and everything out to the world. So please help us out there. Follow Nosa. Until next time. Peace.